Hey there guys, Zor here of ZorGameGeek.com. Let's talk about learning how to play Dungeons & Dragons. Now, they have two products out that help new players learn how to play Dungeons & Dragons. And today I'm going to talk about the second of those two products called the Essentials Kit. And the reason why is it's really a great product, especially here at the time we're recording this. We're going through the various coronavirus shutdowns, and a lot of people are stuck at home, and that may continue into the foreseeable future. Now, usually when you want to play Dungeons & Dragons, you need, well, a dungeon master and 3 to 6 players. But the great thing about the Essentials Kit is you don't need all those players. They have optional rules in there to allow one-on-one play. That's right, just one dungeon master and one player with these rules called sidekick rules, where there is a sidekick who is maybe a warrior or a rogue or a cleric or a wizard who goes along with the main character, the player's character, and supports them, helps them out. They're the Robin to the player's Batman. Now, the Essentials Kit has everything you need right in the box to start playing. It's easy to order on Amazon or from your friendly local game store. And inside it has a basic rule book, and it has an adventure, The Dragons of Icefire Keep. And it's set up really easily for new game masters and new players to just pull out and learn and start playing. With that being said, there's a couple of little things that as a new player, new game master, you're going to need to watch out for and pay attention. A couple of those first level adventures, the difficulty levels aren't tuned just right, and you could end up killing your players and the sidekick. So you got to watch out for the Manticore and the oozes, the yellow oozes. The Manticore, that needs to be a really diplomatic adventure. If the player tries to, at first level, fight their way through the Manticore, that's going to be a little rough for them. Manticores are really for higher level characters. But there's a couple of ways you can deal with that. First, have the Manticore be wounded. That's why they're at that location. Don't want to do too many spoilers if we got some players listening right now. But they've been wounded, and they are at that location trying to deal with that, because they were just in a bad fight and had to turn tail and run. So they're a little surly, but they're also feeling a little defeated. That's why, talk it out. The other thing with Manticores is they have these tail spikes that regenerate over the day, but they only have so much in the day. You could also rule that the Manticore has lost maybe all but 1 or 2 of its tail spikes. That takes away its ability to attack from range, and it has to close up on the characters. If a fight does break out, they're partially wounded, they take a few more hits, they fly away. And that's the end of the encounter. The yellow oozes are a different problem. If your character is using a slashing weapon, sword or axe, and who doesn't use a sword or axe, then every time you hit the gray yellow oozes, they split in 2. And all of a sudden that single ooze becomes a second ooze and becomes a 4th ooze. And it just keeps growing. They go down in hit points, but in D&D 5th edition, the action economy is really important. You really want to watch for that balance between the number of monsters who act versus the number of players who act. And with one-on-one play, even with the sidekick, you get too many going on at once, and the players can be easily overwhelmed. The real simple advice for fixing that particular adventure is, instead of using yellow oozes, use gray oozes. They're just a little easier. They don't split in part when you cut them, and they have a few less hit points, but perfectly appropriate for the level of challenge that the players are facing. Big shout out to slyfirst.com for those tips on how to deal with these little problems with the Essentials Kit. But don't let that scare you away from playing. Use your best judgment, and sometimes the best stories are where the players get wiped out and you have to figure out what's going on next and how to dig deep and come back from that setback. So, Essentials Kit. It's a great kit, and if you want to learn more about how to learn to play D&D and about the other kit called the Starter Box, go to zorgamegeek.com/learndnd. That's ZorGameGeek.com. Learn D, the letter N, D. Keep gaming.